Okay, so today Professor Ja will be talking about the effects of a 9-day fast on one day after the fast. So, in total, I woke up very early in the morning and I waited until about 8:30 a.m. I was up at 4 a.m. pretty much for the whole fast, and I waited until 7 a.m. before consuming any food. I had two coconuts in the morning, and I I just decided to 11:44. It's 11. Okay. I decided to open a papaya and eat it since I felt satisfied with 9 days. And so, what I just want to talk about is everybody knows when you fast that the stomach shrinks because of water consumption. So as the stomach shrinks and you're constantly pouring water through it, you realize during your fast that your body is distilling the water at a faster rate than normal. And I only realized this after I had to pee, about 20 minutes after eating the papaya. So, verily so, you can imagine your stomach has been shrunken down over a long period of time, and you've been only drinking water. Your stomach is fresh. It's raw. It's ripe for consumption. And so, what happens is when your body is reintroduced to food, it recognizes the codons and the DNA of the food, especially if it's raw, and then it begins to resume natural functioning, and it's like a reboot. It's like you come back alive. You feel energized from the food immediately, and your body is optimized. Your stomach is optimized to eat this food. Why? Because your stomach is a muscle, and if you exercise this muscle properly with fasting, which it can include, fasting until noon. Sometimes you fast all night and then half the day. That is a proper way to introduce you to fasting. But if you do this, then your body literally is given the time to readjust itself to properly consume food. So what does it mean that Gandhi did a hunger strike to save his country from colonization? This is a lie. Gandhi didn't do a hunger strike. He did a dry fast. He did a dry fast strike. He didn't do any consumption of water or food or voice, ego. He did not consume anything, all for the sake of his country, his people. And so when you dry fast, you literally your heart is told to direct your body to suck up all of the water and push it to your brain so your brain can survive, so you can find food. Because if your brain loses water, you will go crazy, you will hallucinate, and you will die. So this is why I'm against dry fasting. But I just want to point out the difference between dry fasting and water fasting. So after I ate the papaya and I had to pee immediately, I realized that my pee was coming out slower. So this is a significantly slower. And so what this means is that I felt an energy shift. There was no more focus in the brain. I felt a little tired, and then later my body had to adjust to all the working parts that it's doing now. Now it realizes there's resources available, so it's going to start rebuilding, from its original state. And so what happens? I felt the pee coming out slower, and I could feel my body ache. And whoa, none of that Drake confusion about woes, because these are the real woes, family. These are your body woes. And a better habit has been formed as I'm realizing my pee comes out significantly slower. This means that just as I was drinking whenever I needed to drink water when I was peeing, I now have the realization that, okay, I need to make water every day. I need to put limes in water every day. I need to prepare my water, charge my water in order to maintain this optimum level of clarity. And so as I'm getting these downloads all within, 20 seconds of urinating, I can see why people say that eating one thing at a time is best, because your body, it shares 70% of its DNA with the banana, some different high percentage with every other fruit, because each seed-bearing fruit is brought up a certain way. Each human organism is perfect. They all come from one original organism. And so we are all related. We're all on this level. But at the same time, if you put a banana in your stomach on top of the papaya, and then you even throw an avocado down there on top of the papaya, you can imagine that I had to urinate once my stomach was reactivated and it began to squeeze the papaya goo and squeeze out the water. My body realized, okay, not only is the stomach full, but the papaya has been squeezed of all hydration. So now we can focus on digesting with acid. And this is why the doctors recommend that you drink water at least 20 minutes after your meal, because your stomach is a muscle and it goes through habits of squeezing and filtering and distributing. Literally, your blood is cultivated in your gut. So this protein factory internal chemical combustion that takes place in your stomach is purposeful, and it has to direct and distribute the certain proteins and nutrients into the different canals of the organ. And this is complicated. This is complicated by mixing your food. And so that is why smoothie culture is so popular, because having all these mixtures can give you a sense of satisfaction as your stomach realizes that it needs this amount of time in order to break this down. But it's best to optimize your body with one food at a time. And so as my stomach is squeezing on the first 5 seconds of me consuming the papaya, I can feel it moving, and I can feel my stomach in a shrunken state. I felt uncomfortable at being so full from the papaya. And so I had to adjust a little bit and breathe. I did do a little exercise, and it was beneficial, but I felt that my energy decreased, and this was reinforced by the slow rate of urine coming out of my body. Since I now had food, I weighed more. I'm doing multiple things now. And so as these readjustments are taking place, we can see that eating one thing at a time is bad. Eating one thing at a time is good. Mixing food is bad. And that, people really don't benefit from slopping meal after meal on top. Because why? Because you're keeping your stomach at at a bloated state. You're never giving your stomach the time, which is a muscle and mimics your heart, the time to shrink and expand. Shrink and expand. That is what everything does. It inhales and exhales. The trees exhale, your heart exhales, your brain exhales, your lungs exhale. Everything is moving and expanding, just like the universe. There's a theory of the universe there's evidence that suggests that it is breathing, verily so. It's oscillating. It is I forgot the type of universe that it is, but yes, everything is breathing. That is why breath is the vehicle, and the word of God is gives life through the breath. And so how do you think then that Abraham was able to reach 250 years of age? Because when you adjust and enhance the cycle of your human nature as God intends with your environment, and you learn about fasting and its benefits, you will see that, I have to physically breathe on a deeper dimension. A deeper dimension than my lungs. I have to breathe with the earth. I have to go without and go within. And these are keys, my friends. These are the keys to immortality that I will give you if you give me the attention that I need to curve the universe. But if anybody has any questions about how to get prepared for fasting or even coming to Costa Rica, please go ahead and ask at this time. But I also want to give some more hints and talk about veganism on energy cycles, veganism. It's okay to eat more than one item at a time. If the nutrients assimilate well together, but fasting is very important. The body needs more to recover from eating. Yes, this is why some food combinations are good, like rice and beans, because rice is a genetically modified organism that lacks a certain codon of the original type of food that come from Africa. And so quinoa is a whole protein. You don't need to add anything with quinoa. But yes, rice and beans is how you can get the best protein or the cheapest protein combination. But fruit can be eaten one at a time for a direct download from one tree at a time. And this is not information that your mind will able to comprehend. This is what your body will tell your mind through subtle hints. And so it's okay to eat one item. I think it is okay. More than one item is okay when you're doing non-natural foods that aren't fruit-bearing seeds or seed-bearing fruits. Verily so, we can become fruitarians and live off of the fruit, and even so, more so in our evolution, we can become breatharians. And so these are the levels of ascension that I will organize across my lifetime to show people that evolving does take place within one generation, and it's not just genes passing down, which is thus disproving evolutionary theory. But yes, we can control our evolution. And it takes place with the sun. You need sunlight, which is fire. You need water, which is air, to fast. And you need earth, which is, a little bit, a very tiny fraction of fruit, vegetables, and roots. But thank you for the statement. Let me see, what else? I think people should begin to realize that their culture is not their own. If you want to know why Walmart is always filled with black people, then I can tell you because God's people want to naturally do good, while the others, they maintain a habit of selfish, complacent satisfaction. And this is evident in diet and history. And maybe it is time for another video. But I just wanted to update people on my fast and my keys to see if people really care about making themselves better. But I think that's enough for today. Also, digesting food with light and love, or vegetables with some orange for vitamin C and iron assimilation. I agree, eating one at a time, really bringing in that energy. Yes, you're optimizing. Your stomach needs to have 80% of its capacity. Your limit is 80% so that your acid can function properly. If it doesn't do that, then you decelerate. If your stomach is 100% at 100% capacity, then the acid is pushed onto the walls and it has to slowly come in from all areas instead of the acid pool sitting at the bottom and slowly pulling everything down with gravity. But more so about the stomach. As I felt the papaya being squeezed by my stomach, I could feel my stomach wanting to return back to another state. And so I felt my stomach breathe. And as I had to pee, I learned, I need to fill it up with water so that it can breathe more around the goo, the papaya goo that I've eaten. But if I would have thrown in some avocado, then it would have thrown everything off. It would have had to switch lanes to a different frequency. Okay, we got this level of RNA proteins, and now we have to combine them to form this one. And so it's better to eat one thing at a time, to really listen to your body. Supplements. Supplements could be chlorophyll supplements. That's the only kind of supplement I would recommend people take with their water or with their water or food. But it must be known that pills, vitamins, they are rocks, just like salt is a rock. We had to evolve from the necessity of absorbing sodium from the earth because there was a scarcity of broccoli and green fruits, but we don't need salt in our food anymore. And since we've culturally become addicted to the flavor of salt and salty things, this has created thirst. There's an old saying that man searches for the salt of the earth because the salt is what was the preservative, and things had to be rehydrated in order to be brought back into life for consumption. That is why many convenience stores have dry goods, and people don't know that you have to soak your legumes, your peanuts, and things in order to assimilate them properly into your body. You have to soak your almonds if you want your body to not strain itself and cost water in order to fuel it. You have to soak things because we are water. Everything is water. So until people realize this, they'll see that, oh, I can chew on a rock, I can swallow a rock in water and take a vitamin or a potassium capsule. And why don't you just untwist that thing and pour the green powder in your mouth? Why are you sitting there consuming plastic? You wasted energy. Don't eat that pill. Capsule. I need a capsule to convert and dose. I don't need a capsule to digest. But they don't put that on the bottle. Yes, it's Gemini season, by the way. Gemini season. Does anybody have any questions about eating meat? If that's all, then I will head on out because I got other dimensions to cross into. Well, I've never tried to share this. Well, it's too late. I did the whole thing already. Invite group members. Write a comment. Broadcast your live. What is this one? Oh, Brightness. And these are... Oh, we don't need any of that. Okay, folks, I'm out of here.